What's up guys, I got the Note 5 and it's time for me to give you my review. The Note 5 is arguably the best smartphone of 2015. I was really concerned about using this device, especially after my bad experience with the Galaxy S6 and even the LG G4. Reason is because the track record of the 2015 devices had just been really shady up until the Note 5 point, in my opinion at least. Don't get me wrong, the Galaxy S6 has some really good strong points, but the cons of that phone just really outweigh any pros that it had. For example, the bad battery life and also some really laggy performance. Fortunately, the Galaxy Note 5 redeemed the Galaxy S6. I would honestly say just bypass the S6 and get the Note 5 if you want a Galaxy device. I've actually owned the Note series all the way since the Note 3. I've had the Note 3, the 4, and the 5. I actually had the Note 4 Edge as well, just for a short period of time. And I've loved each experience of it. It's always been my favorite device of the year. You know, with the exception of last year, I did like the OnePlus One a lot, but still the Note 4 was a great device. Coming from the Note 4, the 4 Edge, this thing got a major makeover. This thing no longer has a removable back or SD card storage. There's actually hardly any plastic, if any plastic at all, on this build quality. It's a full glass back, it's got a curved edge, and then a metal frame. While this was a welcome change to the design quality, there are some concerns, so I'll get to that in just a second. So basically for the rest of this review, I'm going to go over what I like and then what I don't like, and then some notable features about the Note 5. There's definitely plenty to like about this device, and it's actually hard to choose where to start. So I'm not really going to rank these in order of how much I like them or what the better feature is. This is just a list of what I like about the device the most. The camera has impressed me a lot with the Note 5. Cameras get better and better every year, but this year it's just a whole other notch in my opinion. The performance has been really well with this phone. Not only does it perform well, there's just a lot of nice options that it has, and it's very user-friendly. That's the other cool thing I like about it. One of the really nice features about the camera app is to double tap the home button to access it. If you have your fingerprint sensor activated, it's actually really quick to access it. You don't have to do a lock screen pattern or pin or anything like that. And you saw how fast this opens up. You're ready to start taking pictures right away because of that double tap feature. It's one of my favorite features about the camera because I use the camera a lot and it's just ready to go as soon as you start tapping. And then it's just really easy to take pictures. Now, I always recommend to tap the focus. That just really helps the quality of the picture come out better than just kind of letting it autofocus, which the autofocus actually works really well too. It's just a really nice, easy phone to use for the camera, and it just works really well. It's fast, the quality is awesome, and you get a ton of features. So let's go into those features just really quick. You got your settings button right here, and then you can go to your video size for your rear. You can get 4K quality all the way down to VGA quality if you need to, and it just looks really good. You got tracking, which is a pretty cool feature. I'll come back over here. So basically, if you do video tracking, you basically touch the screen here, and then it's going to track that spot. So you see me moving the object around, and it tracks it. So this is really cool. It's always going to stay focused on wherever you tap that feature. If you wanted to deactivate it, you just tap the screen again and it's done. So it's a really cool feature that you can really take use of. Actually, I don't use it that much because I like the video stabilization more. You got grid lines, location, all that kind of stuff. Quick launch, that's that double tap the home, voice control. I actually use voice control quite a bit. Like just being able to say cheese, you know, in a group picture, especially with kids, it's really easy to just say cheese and then it takes the picture. I turn off the shutter sound just because I don't like the shutter sound. But this is another way that you can change your resolution. You got all your resolutions here from 16 megapixels for 16:9 ratio, then you got 12 and on down. So it just kind of depends on your preference of how you like to use it. I hardly ever use the flash, so I keep that off. You got a timer, HDR, auto on and off. I normally keep it off. Then you get some effects that you can actually use, and it's like I said, this user interface is really simple to use. The other cool thing here is you got this modes, and the modes are a lot simpler to use. Again, you got the Pro feature here to make it to where it has DSLR kind of features. You can really customize the settings and all that kind of stuff. You got selective focus, very cool stuff that kind of gives you that nice bokeh effect. Panorama, video collage. Video collage is pretty cool. So let me just show you how to do that real quick. You just kind of let it sit there for a second and do some video. It does 6 seconds for the first block, and then it moves on to the second one. You hit record again, move around. You can hit pause and record. It's a pretty cool feature. I'll try to walk you through the whole thing. And obviously I'm not doing like a professional video quality here. I'm just like showing you how it's going to work and how you can get creative with it. And last block to use. All right, almost done with it. All right, so you can see here, it actually records the sound too. You can turn the sound off if you want to. Then you got options to share it, save it, things like that. You can actually add some music, so pretty cool. I really like that feature. It's a unique one for sure. Live broadcast. Now this is a pretty cool one, and I did this for the unboxing of the Moto X that you see in front of you right here. And basically the way that this works, you can title it and then you just hit live, you wait for it to go live, you have a little yellow circle that goes around it, and you're broadcasting live to YouTube. That's a really cool feature. The only downside of it is that it's only exclusive to devices. I really want them to make this available to all devices, something downloadable in the Google Play Store. I just think that this needs to be on every device. I would use it all the time. The other thing that I want them to change about it is that there's no way to actually track comments. That's a bummer because I want to be able to interact with people when they're watching, something like Periscope. So they really do need to kind of figure out a way to be able to do that. But some of the other options are, one, you can do front and rear. You can invite people, then you get some settings over here as well. You can make it public or invitation only. Video size, you can make it all the way up to 1080p, so that's pretty cool. Auto saves, that way it saves to your gallery. Screen power saving, just to kind of help do that. Then you also choose your account. Some other really awesome ones here that I use a lot is actually slow motion and fast motion. It's very, very easy to use and I love it. So let's just do a slow motion pan right here. Nothing professional, just kind of giving you an example. Just 4 seconds worth. But you turn it into slow motion, you come back over here and you can really see it. This is where I love it. You have this little bar right here and you can change where the slow motion happens. So it kind of does like a gradual progression into it. It's very cool. So let's play it. You see how that just really slows it down. It's very smooth. It's awesome. The only other place that I've seen the slow motion and fast motion is something like on the iPhone. iPhone does a really good job with it as well, but I think the Galaxy Note 5 definitely has better quality. So here's fast motion. We'll do it real quick, but this time I'll do a little slower pan. Nothing smooth, of course, but here we go. So hit that, saves it, go back to view it, hit this button here, and see how fast that, I mean, it's really cool. It goes from like normal speed and then it transitions into a slower speed. And you can actually, I think you can change how fast you can do it. From right here, you got the speed. That's what I was looking at. So yeah, you can change the speed and things like that. Export it, share it. It's really fun to use. It's like you can get really creative with this camera. There's just a ton of features. I could go into every single one, but goodness gracious, I'd be here forever. This would just be a separate video altogether. You got animated GIF, very cool stuff. Just so many features that you can do. And then if you don't see something that you like, or if you want more options, you can go to their store and there's a bunch of other options that you can choose from to download. Like you got sport shot, dual camera, shot and more, surround shot, beauty face, food shot, rear cam selfie, just a ton. Like if you want a good or like the best camera on a smartphone, the Note 5 is definitely the way to go. Other notable stuff about the camera is that it's been one of the best cameras that takes really good low light shots. I'll leave some examples down below in the description, and also over on the website I'll post some of those pictures as well. Very nice. It's just got a great camera. It's so good, so good. I love it. I've really got no complaints about the camera at all. Moving on to the build quality. Now this is going to be one of those pros and cons kind of things. Like there's some really cool stuff about it, but then there's also some concerns that I have about the build quality. The build quality is something that a lot of Samsung users have been screaming for. We've dealt with plastic for so long that it's really felt cheap. It wears out. It's just not really good. And when you're paying so much for a Note device, you want to get your money's value for it. So they really stepped up their game this time. The metal frame makes it so much better. The premium quality really screams out loud when you have this frame built. Now, like I said, the back is a glass material. While I like having the premium material, there's a lot of concerns that comes with having a glass back. One, you can see here, it's a fingerprint magnet. If you use a case, you got nothing to worry about. Most of the time I do use a case. I took the case off to do this video. So if you use this without a case, you're definitely going to have some fingerprints all over it. It's pretty bad. And especially if you have this black one, the black sapphire color, it really shows up. A white device doesn't show up nearly as much. The other concern that I have about having a glass back is, one, if you drop it, you got not only the front to worry about, but now you got the back to worry about. And these devices, they're not cheap, and they're not cheap to repair. Another concern with the glass back is getting dust or dirt stuck between the case and the phone, getting it scratched up, or if you're not using a case to, get it scratched up. If you're not going to use a case, I would definitely recommend getting a skin. If you use a skin, you're not going to have to worry about adding any kind of bulk or anything like that. Now, you might prefer it, but I don't know. I'd just be way too concerned with this glass back getting scratched up. Now, I've had this for 3 months, and I will say that I've got no scratches on it. This is in mint condition, so I'm really going to be able to sell this at a really high price compared to something that's all scratched up. One of my favorite features about the Note device this time around, and actually was part of the Galaxy S6 as well, is the themes. The themes actually helps this so much. I like stock Android. I like the material kind of look. And with the UI of TouchWiz, it just never really looked the way I wanted it to. I'd always add a custom launcher like I have here with Nova Launcher. I add a material type of theme for my icons, but like the menus and all that kind of stuff, the system settings, just never actually looked like the way I wanted it to. But now the themes store is very cool. You can go down to the themes right here. Like I got material right here, and they got material dark. And it's very awesome. I'll show you how easy it is. You can go to the theme store for one, just show you what that looks like real quick. And you got a ton of different themes to choose from, all kinds of different themes. But these are the two that I like the most. Here's material dark. I'll just do that, and you can kind of see what it looks like here versus what I got now. Kind of gives you some screenshots to look at. So that's what it looks like. It changes the menu, it changes different things like the dialer. It really just makes it a whole new device. If you like a stock Android kind of look, this is definitely something to look at. Moving on to the battery. The battery, while it's non-removable, it still lasts me throughout the day. And that's the thing that I look for the most when I talk about battery life. I could give you all the stats, but my phone gets used differently every day. It could be used really heavy one day, and then the next day I'm not using it as much. So I don't like to throw out this kind of stats, but just to literally tell you that it lasts me through the day, at least to the point to where when I get home from work, I'm able to at least still get through that part of the day. And if I need to, I can just plug it up to the quick charger. With that said, let's go into the quick charging part of it. Like I said, the battery life, it gets me through the day. That's what I need. But if I need to get a charge going, it's got quick charging in it. When you charge this for about an hour to hour and a half, you can get a full charge. That's really cool to me. It's almost a must-have feature for every phone that I get at this point. I really want quick charging. Not to mention, this actually supports fast wireless charging. I just did a review on the Chotec fast wireless charger, and it works great. You can check out that review. I'll leave a link down below in the description. I'll also throw up a card that you can click on as well. What's great about quick charging is that there's many ways to do it. One, you get a quick charger that comes with the phone, but now there's actually quick charging portable batteries, and I love using that. I'll leave another link to some recommendations that I've used and really have enjoyed using. So anyways, like basically quick charging to me has been the saving grace for these devices with bad battery life, especially Galaxy S6. But like I said, the battery life gets me through the day with this one, but let's say I'm really using this heavily and I need to put a charge on around 2 or 3 o'clock to get me through the rest of the workday, I'm able to do that, and it charges it up really fast. The next thing I want to talk about is the screen. There's two things that I really like about it, which is the size and the clarity. The Note series has been rocking the 5.7-inch size for a few generations now, and I'm actually really glad that they didn't go any bigger or any less than that. To me, like when I had the Nexus 6, the Motorola Nexus 6, it was just too big for me, and that really takes a lot for me to say that a phone size is too big. It just was. It wasn't very practical for a lot of just everyday use. It was great for media consumption and things like that, but anyways, back to the Note 5. It's a really good screen size. I like it a lot. I've got relatively big hands. I'm 6'3", got long hands, so it just fits my hand really nice. If you don't like using a case, the edge here, it fits really well too. So I like the screen size. The other thing I like about it a lot too is the clarity. There's a few things about the clarity that I want to touch on. One, it's got a nice 2K screen. It's very nice. It's very crisp looking. Watching YouTube videos or any kind of movies on this thing looks very nice. It's nice and crisp and clear. It's just a very nice viewing experience. The other thing that I really like about this screen is actually it's a sensor, and in the daylight between the Galaxy S6 and the Note 5, This thing, when the sunlight hits it, it's going to give a nice boost of brightness. It's a very, very nice feature if you're outside a lot. I really enjoy having that sensor on here because I'm able to view my screen without any kind of frustration at all. I can see what's going on my screen when this thing gets boosted. It's a very awesome feature. I really want like every phone to have that. I'm starting to see it more and more, and it's really almost a must-have feature if you work outside or anything like that. The other cool feature about this screen is that you can actually do screen write with this, and this kind of gets into the S Pen feature a little bit more. It's so fast and easy to take notes with this because all you have to do is just pop out the S Pen and start taking notes. I mean, it's very, very simple. This is so perfect if you need to jot down a phone number, if you need to make a few notes. You know, before this, what you'd have to do is take out the S Pen, unlock your screen, open up an app. You know, it's just like trying to fiddle through all the apps to be able to even do that. I mean, you can hit the button here and then take a, action memo or something like that, take the note. But you see how many more steps that you had to take before. But now all you have to do is just take the pen out and start taking notes. It's a very nice feature, the screen write option. Not to mention I use the screen write all the time. It's so nice and useful. I'll get into that in just a second. Another feature that I want to highlight is the fingerprint sensor. It works so well. The previous generations, like the Note 4, the Edge, you had to swipe down to use the fingerprint sensor. And it worked, like for me at least, it only worked about 50% of the time. It's really frustrating. I just ended up disabling it because it just never really worked the way it should have. But with this, I mean, watch how fast and easy this is. Done. That's it. That's all it took. And you can put up to 4 fingerprints to do this. So, if you like to use your thumb, if you got on your desk, you can kind of just press your finger like that. Or if you have a second user that you want to load, you can do that as well. So nice, so fast, so easy. I'm so glad that they changed it from that swipe action. That swipe action was a pain in the butt. Like again, watch how fast this is. All you have to do is press the button and it's done. It's one of the fastest ways to open up your screen. It's a secure way to keep your phone safe from others using it. It's a wonderful feature. I really love the fingerprint sensor on this phone. I do want to talk about the S Pen real quick. And one thing is a little different now. You have to do a clicking kind of action in order to get it out. I actually don't like that feature. The reason why is because there's many times to where I would find it clicked and just hanging out. And I always got concerned about this falling off or falling out or getting caught on something in my pocket. I don't know, just it seemed like it opened up more opportunities to lose the pen. In the past, I never had a problem with the pen sticking out inadvertently whenever it was just when you just pull it out with your fingernail or something like that. So I'm actually not too much of a fan of the clicking. I know that some people might like that, but that's just something to think about. I just never really got into it. But when you do get the S Pen going, you got a lot of nice features here. You've got Action Memo, you've got Smart Select, Screen Write, S Note, and then you can actually add some other shortcuts. The feature that I used a lot was the Screen Write. So it takes a screenshot of your screen and then you're able to write on it. And the things that I like about that, let's just get a different color here, get a marker. And, I have a team of writers, so it was always nice to be able to highlight if they needed to make any kind of corrections. Let's say this was actually Monday, not Sunday, needed to change something, I could just circle it and tell them to change it. Other S Pen features that I end up using more than the others is definitely Action Memo because you can just kind of go in there and just start making some notes. Smart Select offers some pretty cool features like rectangle, lasso, oval, and also auto shape. The rectangle is pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of do a rectangle and it selects that spot, and then you can just save it, do what you need to do with it. Also got lasso. Lasso is pretty neat if you need to kind of cut out a particular shape like this Android guy, and you can just do it like that. Oval, pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be a circular kind of thing. Then you got auto shape. It's pretty neat. You can kind of mess around with it. A lot of nice little lasso kind of features. Other than those, I don't necessarily use a lot of different features. I added Keep in Chrome just as like a shortcut kind of thing. And you can change all that up with these different shortcuts here. You get your menu option there. You can deselect those and then it's going to load the kind of apps that you might want to add. So let's say I want to get rid of Chrome and I want to select something else. What would be a nice relevant one to select? Maybe Gmail. Gmail might be a nice shortcut that you might want to add. So the S Pen definitely has some nice features that you can use. The S Pen is one of those things though, it's like you end up maybe not using a lot of the S Pen features, but when you want it to be there, you want it to be there. Alright, so I've talked a lot about what I like about the Note 5, and while it's a really nice device, there's some stuff that I don't like about it as well. I kind of already mentioned about the build quality, like the glass back. Just to rehash on that just a second. Basically, I'm worried about dropping it and I'm worried about scratches. Now, I've been very careful with this device. I've had no scratches or drops and it's been just fine. So if you take care of it, there's nothing to worry about, but you do have to take that extra precaution because with the glass material, it's just obvious that it gives a better chance of something else happening versus a metal or even plastic. One thing I don't like about the screen is that I'm starting to see this with a lot of like newer generations, even iPhones are doing this, is that you have these rounded edges on the screen. And the problem that I see with that, and this isn't a concern if you don't use screen protection, because this is the concern that I have. You have to end up having these tempered glass screen protectors or screen protectors that are cut shorter than what they used to be like. You can kind of see the curve here with that light. It's just a very slight curve, but the tempered glass screen protector has to be cut to precision because otherwise you end up getting this ghosting effect that it doesn't actually adhere on the edges. So, this one's really good. I'll leave a link down below of the one that I'm using on this one. There's no ghosting at all, but it's just one of those things, like I don't really like having those rounded edges. I don't get the purpose of that. Leave a comment down below if you know the purpose of why they edge these screens off on the sides. I just don't understand it, but I don't like it because it poses those, challenges and obstacles for screen protection. Something else that I don't like about the Note 5 is that you can no longer remove the battery and replace it with a replaceable battery. You only get one choice of battery, but if you need to charge it portably, there are some battery cases that you can get for that. I actually did a review on one like a couple weeks ago, but it just adds bulk. It doesn't really protect it as well as I would want it to. The other option is to have the quick portable battery. There's those out there. There's a eLive Buy that I like to use a lot and it works great. But it just poses a lot more challenges and you have to be connected all the time. Or, if you're using this heavily, you're going to have to charge it. Fortunately, there is that quick charging. So if you're by a wall and you don't have to be somewhere or have to be moving around or something like that, you can just plug it up. But if you need to be portable, if you're at an event or anything like that and you need some battery life, you got to have that portable battery case or be tethered to a portable battery. It's just kind of frustrating at times. It's not a deal breaker to me anymore because I'm starting to warm up to the idea that most phones nowadays are not going to have the removable battery. So I've kind of adapted my life to be able to just cope with not having one. But it would definitely be nice to have it, especially with the Note 5 because of all the content that you can be producing with this device. Something else that kind of frustrates me about the Note 5 is that there's no removable storage. And there's only two different versions that you can get of this phone, which is a 32 or 64 gig model. I would definitely recommend getting the 64 gig if you are going to put a lot of content on the device. If you can manage otherwise, the 32 can get you by. That's what I have right now, but I don't put any music on it. As soon as I put any kind of movies or video clips, I transfer it over to something else. So you definitely have to manage things a lot differently than if you had a storage card in there before because, it was getting to the point where you could have 200 gig SD cards in phones these days and you just can't do that on this device. I really think that they could have done something different because on the Moto X Pure Edition, they dually purposed this little slot here. It's the SIM card and also the SD card slot. So I think there's ways that they could implement that maybe in the next generation, the Note 6, but I really think that they need to do that. Motorola, you got to give props to them for actually putting that back onto their device. I'm so glad that they did that because now I can use my SD card into the Moto X. I just want that over here as well. Other notable things about this device is that the call quality is really good. Samsung to me has been kind of like the standard. It's always been the best in my experience. For one, it just sounds good. It's nice and clear and loud. If you're in a noisy environment, you can actually do that call volume boost, which is awesome. I loved that. When I used to work in lawn care landscaping, that was almost a must-have feature because of being in a loud truck all the time. Now I'm in an office job, I don't have to have that feature, but it's really nice to have it if you're in a loud environment. The HD call quality is very superb on this phone. It's really actually mind-blowing at times how clear the audio is. So it's very nice to have that kind of call quality on this kind of stuff because if you are on a phone call, if you actually use your phone for phone calls, you want it to be nice, clear, and loud. I do want to mention that the speaker has been relocated to the bottom rather than the back. The back was one of the worst spots that you can locate a speaker. The bottom is a better spot, but after you use a phone that uses the front-facing speakers, the reason is because when you're holding a phone, one, if you got it on the back, most likely you're going to have to try to figure out how not to cover up the speaker. But it's actually kind of that difficult too, because if you want to hold it right-handed, or if you got it, flipped over like this, or just hold it in one hand, is what I'm trying to get at, is that you have to think about where the speaker is at. Now there is a little trick that you can kind of bounce the sound around. You have the speaker here, so kind of cup your hand so the sound comes at you, creating an effect of having front-facing speakers. But like I said, I would so much rather have the speakers on the front. Rather, like on the Moto X Pure Edition, you got front-facing speakers like the Nexus 6 had it, HTC phones have it, the new Huawei Nexus 6P has front-facing speakers as well. It's just the ideal place to put it, because when you're watching a movie, when you're watching any kind of video clip, it sounds so much better. If you got music playing, you can have it laying down and you get the sound coming out, when the sound would actually be coming out this way. Or like if you had another device that has it on the back, you'd have the phone face down, speaker coming out, but then you couldn't see anything on your screen. So it's just very nice to have speakers on the front versus the bottom, definitely not the back. So my final thoughts about the Note 5 is that it's just a great phone. The only thing holding me back from labeling this the best smartphone of 2015 is the Nexus 6P. And that's arriving this week at the time of recording this video. So once I get my experience with the Nexus 6P, I'm really going to be able to tell you if this is the best smartphone of 2015, at least in my opinion. There's a lot to this phone, so much about it. It's very nice. I definitely recommend it. If you're in the market of getting a new smartphone, you can't go wrong with this phone. It's been a great device. I've absolutely loved it. It's been a fun device to use. There's so much to it, so many different features that you can use. Almost everything for anyone that you can imagine what you want a smartphone to do. It's just very nice. I like it a lot. Give it a shot. I don't think that you can really go wrong with this device. I mean, it's going to be personal preference issues. Like if certain things like deal breakers about the screen size, if you like a smaller screen or anything like that. But I really think that you can get over those kind of preferences because the phone performs so well. It's got some nice features. It's got a great camera, great screen. It's just an overall really nice device to have. So yeah, this has been my review about the Note 5. Let me know down in the comments if you've had a Note 5. Tell me about your experience. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or there's some stuff that you would change about it. If you've got any questions about the Note 5, leave a comment down below. I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Share this with your friends and family. The holidays are coming up. I know a lot of people will be looking to getting a new phone. This might be a review that could be helpful to them. And until then, stay techie.